for money, currency, depending what currency value it may be. But yes, that mobile phone can be bought and can be sold. So the wholesalers, they give it to retailers, and retailers give it to maybe vendors, or maybe directly themselves, and then we buy as in customer. Now there's another thing that we need to, so that's a commodity. So let's go back and look at and find out what goods are. So goods, it's a thing that gives us some satisfaction or utility when we use it or consume it. So goods, anything gives us some satisfaction or utility when we consume or use it. So what is something that we consume and use that gives us satisfaction? What do you think about food? Does it, you consume food, right? Maybe you're wearing clothes. Okay, so let's try to make it more simpler and give an example for you. Suppose you have a kitchen garden, which I have, and I grow thyme just across the window, and here you grow some vegetables for your own consumption, right? These vegetables are goods for own consumption, and they give you utility, okay, because I'm using it at home, but they are not commodities. You know why? Because they are not produced for sale in the market. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my neighbor, I went to my neighbor, and I knew that he had a curry leaf tree. So my wife said, let's go and say hello and New Year wishes and all, and then look at his garden. His garden is beautiful. So I went to his house to look at the garden. When we were going around, my wife asked, "Is that a curry leaf tree?" He says, "No, this is the one." And you know what? He plucked the branches and he gave me some curry leaves and told me I can put this in the and seed. Give me some seeds also to put it and try to get my own tree. But then he said, whenever you need, you take it. Now, I did not actually pay him any money, but it was for his own consumption, right? And so for that, because he uses the curry leaves in his house and it is in his kitchen garden or in his backyard, that is a good. Similarly, I have a very big bush of rosemary with me. So the rosemary actually is a good for me because I use rosemary in my kitchen. So what I'm trying to say is that something that you use for your own purpose and not for produced and sales for the market is actually called goods, okay, and becomes commodity only when I put for sale. So if he gave me his curry leaf for sale, or if I gave him my rosemary for sale, that would have become a commodity. But was not a commodity. It is actually just a product rather than a good rather than a commodity. Now, again, in commodities we have different forms. Let's look at the different forms of commodities. Now, the first, we talk about goods, and then we also call services. So goods and services also can be commodities. So I thought only goods were there. If I sold those rosemary in the market, and that becomes my commodity, but there is service also a commodity. So let's look at how come service be a commodity. Do you think you have an idea how can service be a commodity? Okay, let's see. Now, let's say you own a car or a scooter or a cycle, whatever it is. So you have your scooter, car, cycle, whatever you have, and you ride your scooter or or your cycle, and or you drive your car for your own person work. That means you go to meet your friends, you go to school, or you visit somewhere. That is not a commodity because you are using for your personal use, right? Again, as same as my rosemary or curry leaves. But when you use the same car or the same scooter or the same cycle, and you give a service like auto rickshaw, it's again a scooter, but no person is using this to bring one person one place to another place, right? And he charges you money, isn't it? So at the time, the driving itself becomes a commodity, right? Now, so commodity is something which is used for payment of money in exchange of goods or services. Now we need to go a little bit more into goods and services, right? Now let's look at goods and services. When you sat in the rickshaw, okay, when you sat in the rickshaw or even a car for that matter, and someone sat in your rickshaw or car and you took a person from point A, let's say from Lal Killa, you picked a person from Lal Killa and dropped him up at your which place in Delhi, which is a good place you want to go. Let's go to Lotus Temple. So you picked up from Lal Killa and dropped at Lotus Temple, right? So what did your passenger get from you? Did you give him your auto rickshaw? No. You gave him just a ride from point A to point B, right? He does not own your rickshaw. You gave him to sit over there for some time safely from point A to point B, and you did for money, right? And that's exactly, it's called service, right? Other way, you went to a restaurant and you actually gave money and they gave you pizza. The pizza is actually something, it's tangible, you can feel, touch, okay, you can touch, you can feel it, and that's exactly is a tangible. So intangible is something which is not seen, which are consumed and the process at the same time when they're produced. What is this consume? Can you consume pizza when it is produced? Oh, no, they have to produce first and then give it to you, isn't it? Okay, so let me again explain you more easily. So for pizza, you have to actually cook the pizza and put in the box or whatever plate and give it to you and you consume it. So production is separate, consumption is separate, right? No. Service. You're sitting in my rickshaw, right? So you have to sit in my rickshaw for me to give you a service. So my service only starts when you sit in my rickshaw or in my car, then I drive you. So my service is produced and consumed at the same time. Does it make sense? Yes. So this is where it is. The services are intangible. You cannot say, I have, I had a taxi service, so rickshaw service. So you cannot take service home, right? You feel it, you experience it, and you pay the money for that. Similarly, when you go to a destination, right? Let's say you go to Lotus Temple, right, in Delhi. You go to Lotus Temple. So when you go to a destination to a Lotus Temple, you feel the experience, the beauty of it, the calmness. You observe it. Maybe you take some pictures outside, right? And you sit over there for some time. You experience the vibes, and then you come back. So, what did you bring with you? Nothing. The memories, the experience that you were there. So that's exactly a product. That again is something that you observed over there as a product, as a chosen product. Now, let's move on from here to look at something. I can give you one more example before we move forward in terms of service. So, service, I will tell you one thing. I said about pizza, right? Let's take pizza and divide pizza into a product and a service. A little bit difficult, but not impossible. Okay. Now, you paid 500 rupees and you got a pizza, right? Easy. Now, the two aspects of it. Pizza is something tangible that you can hold, you can see, it's a solid piece. But when you went to the counter to order the pizza, and the person, customer service person on the other side said, yes, what do you want? So, okay, give me 500. No, sorry, this is not available. So the way customer service is behaving is actually a service because you're experiencing the things. Now, on the contrary, there's another customer service. He says, good morning, sir or madam, welcome. What do you like to have today? What pizzas? We have 3 different variety of pizzas. This is on the board. Which one would you like? Oh, I like vegetarian. Okay, fair enough. Would you like with cheese, extra tomatoes, whatnot? What size? What's? Oh, thank you. So, how was your day today? Where have you been? Oh, okay, fair enough. Won't be long. Few minutes. I'll get your pizza ready. Meanwhile, you can have a sip of Coke and wait on the side till I serve the next customer. So, what happens in both the ways? These both customer service attendants were there, but one was actually quite rude, other was actually quite polite. So They both were giving service, but one was quite rude. It was, and you consumed the service. His hospitality was not that great, rather it was bad. So what you experienced was produced at the same time when he was saying you were experiencing, isn't it? And similarly, when the other person was nicely saying you were experiencing too. So what it tells us that service is produced and consumed at the same time. I'm sure this will give you more sense to what I'm saying and make it very clear for you. Okay, now let's go on to the next topic, or not topic. Next important aspect is something called market. So, what is a market? Where does it exist? Have you heard of this word before? I'm sure you would have heard this word before. So, buying and selling of goods and services and production of goods and services for exchange is the main, you can say, gist or hallmark of the market system of production exchange. Quite make it simple. So let's say we will take this way. We all have something. I have rosemary. My neighbor has got. I grow my rosemary, and I've got rosemary garden in my field. Other person has curry leaf garden. Other person oranges garden. Other person some other vegetable garden. So we bring all our vegetable to bring it to one place where our goods and services are produced so that it could be exchanged for money, right? So the system, the market is a place where people, grow or develop product or services for sale. Now I'll make it easier. So first step is where people, the whole system where people grow products or services for sale. So products could be, I'll bring it to tourism. So products could be where people set up their own travel agency. Why would someone set up a travel agency in Delhi? Why would someone set up a travel agency in Jammu? So that people, he can give services to people. He can guide people where to go, what time of the year to go, to book the ticket, to book the hotels, to book the transport, yeah, and any tour guide or any such services, right? So that is a place. So it's a tourism market, right? So this is where it's a market, is a place where, so I know as a customer that if I want to book a ticket, where do I go? Nowadays it's online, right? So we used to have yatra.com, it is still there. Yeah, there's so many more now, isn't it? What are they? They actually are service providers. They are in the market which gives you services. So the goods are produced or services are ready for you to use. So that who created, someone who actually had an idea about to start a travel agency. So the person who starts a travel agency, and the person may have a transport bus agency for taking from Delhi to Jammu. Other person may have a tour guide agency to take people, or someone may have another agency where they help you in maybe skiing. They take you paragliding. So all different services are there, isn't it? And someone may have hotels for people to come and stay. So all this market, this is called market, where people exchange goods and services, okay, for money, which is usually a currency. Okay, now I will also take you as per the dictionary meaning. So as per Oxford Dictionary, market is a regular gathering of people, bring all things together for purchase and sales of provisions, even livestock and other commodities. Commodity is something for sale, right? So as per Oxford, so the place where people come gather together to purchase and sell and purchase, the commodities. Or you can also say market is an abstract term which takes seeks to denote a system. That means again it's a system where people come and in a systematic way where people sell the goods and services, and other people purchase the goods and services. That's done by a voluntary exchange between people. So does someone tell you, or hey, you go and buy vegetable today? No. If you feel that your vegetable are finished in the day, you go and buy it, right? Does someone tell you, no, you must go to tourist destination now today? Let's go. No, you don't do that, right? It's a voluntary action. Or when you want to go, when you feel like going, when you see that you have money, you have time, and it's availability over there. It's both way. They're available. They're ready to welcome you, and they have the space to welcome you. You're ready to pay the money they want, and why not? So that's where the market comes in. Okay. Now, sorry. So what happens is